Hi everyone, hope all of you are doing great. And in this video, I would be showing you how you can create a Copilot bot within your Copilot Studio, leveraging your Azure AI models. Now you have already seen that you can directly upload a PDF document and you can just start building an index on top of it, and you can also start a conversational bot directly in Copilot Studio. But the difference between that and the one that I'm going to show you is that you have more control on the process. By that, what I mean is that, like, once you upload a document into your Azure Copilot and it's created index, you don't know what is the model that is being used, and you don't have the control over that model or the RAG architecture that is getting be used while retrieving your search vectors. But in this process, you have more control over the entire process. Without any further delay, let's just jump into it. What is the process? The first one is that you need to go into your Azure resource group, and you need to create an Azure OpenAI resource, which I have already done. So this is the Azure OpenAI resource. Now let me just go into this and go to the model deployment. Once I go into my model deployment, I need to go into manage deployment. Where I will be creating the OpenAI model out of all the options that I do have in my resource group based on the location where I have created it. Okay. Okay, so this is the new deployment that I'm going to create, and these are the available models. Okay, so you see that there is DALI 3, GPT 3.5, Turbo 16K, GPT 4 32K. So I'm just, for this demonstration purpose, just selecting GPT 3.5 Turbo and giving it the deployment name as test Copilot bot. There are some advanced features as well, so where you can restrict the token limits and the quota as well. So let me just create this model. I'm just putting it whatever there is as default. Okay, so my Copilot, the Azure OpenAI model has got created. So let me just now go into this and add the grounding data to this model. So if I go into my chat option here, you see I will be getting an option to add your data. And for this purpose, I will be using a PDF document, which is having some information on Delta Lake format. So I will be showing you that PDF as well. So this is the PDF which I do have, which is having around 8 pages, where all the advanced features of Delta Lake are been listed down. Okay, so there is time travel, there is how we can do the time travel and all those stuffs. So now I will be asking some questions to show you based on this particular PDF. But first, let me upload this PDF to this model. So once I go into my add your data, there is an option of selecting your data source, and you can do it in several ways. The first way is that, like, if you already have a pre-built index using your Azure AI search. So this is a cognitive search service in Azure, which you can create into your resource group, and you can pre-build your index and just select that particular index for answering your questions. I will show you how to create an Azure AI search service as well. But before that, let me just go through these options. There is Azure Blob Storage, Cosmos DB, Elasticsearch, URL and web address from where you get the data and just get it vectorized and upload files. So for my demonstration purpose, I would be using Azure uh, Blob Storage as well as Azure AI Search. I will upload a document from the Azure Blob Storage, and I would be leveraging the Azure AI Search, which I have already created in my resource group. So now let me just show you what actually I meant by Azure AI Service. So if I go into my Azure resource group, okay, so once I am into my Azure resource groups, So here you see I have already created an Azure AI search Copilot search service. You can also create it within your resource group. How you will be doing it is that you just hit on create and you search for search service, Azure AI search service. You can create. Okay. Let me now just go back to my deployment where I was adding my data. Okay, so here I would be utilizing Azure Blob Storage. So here in my resource group, you see, like I have created a storage account, which is a Blob Copilot. And let me go into the containers. And here you see, I already have a test Copilot blob where I have uploaded the document that I was just referring previously. So now if I go into my deployment here, where I was adding my data. So I have selected Azure Blob Service, and here I would be selecting Azure Blob Copilot, and here I will be selecting the container, which is Test Copilot Blob, and within this I would be leveraging my AI Search Copilot search service, which will be actually creating this index on this PDF document. So using this service, I'm actually creating the vectorized index. So let me now give it a name, Copilot Test Index, and I will do it only once. So next is there is a search type. You can do a keyword search, you can do a semantic search, which is vectorized and which is much more advanced. And these are the default chunk sizes that I would be using. You can use a smaller chunk size as well, okay, which will consume more tokens obviously, but let me keep it as default for this one, and it will start creating that index. If you see here, it will take some time. I'm pausing the recording and I will come back once the index is getting created. Okay, now you can see my index has got created. And now if I now go into my Azure AI search service, I should be able to see this index which got created. So now I'm into my search service and I go into my indexes. Copilot test index, and you see right it has got created. Okay, so now let me come back to my deployment and let me ask a question. Also one thing, like one important feature here is that you can go to the prompt and you can define your system message. Okay, so right now you are using I am using you are the default system message that you are an AI assistant that helps people find information. I can also change it, act as a data engineer. Okay, let's keep it very simple. Act as a data engineer and find relevant information, or maybe I will data engineer assistant, which is a keyword, I guess. Okay, assistant. Now you can play with this prompt and just see the quality of answers that you can get. Okay, so I will now apply the changes. Now let me ask a question. What are the advanced features of Delta Lake? Okay, that's great. Like it has given me that answer, and also the part of the document from where it has retrieved this information. Okay, we will be using the same kind of interface in Copilot, where we will be asking a question and it will give me the response. Now, the most important part, I need to deploy this model as a Copilot bot. So for that, you have a feature, a new Copilot in Copilot Studio. Let me just click on this and it will take me to the Copilot Studio. It is taking some time to load. Okay, now we are into our Copilot Studio. And as you know that PVA is now Copilot Studio. PVA is known as Copilot Studio now. So now I will just give it a name to my bot, which I'm trying to deploy, which give it a Copilot bot demo. Okay. What are the advanced features? Like this is the solution where you want to keep. I'm keeping it in my Azure like default common data service default solution, or even you can create your own folders and you can just keep it there. Okay, let me just create it. So you if you go into your Power Apps, and you can just create a solution as per your naming convention or whatever the projects that you are building, and you can just build your solution within this particular solution, because this will be leveraged later on when you will be calling some Power Automate flows. And the main criteria for calling a Power Automate flow, that both your bot and the Power Automate flow need to be in the same solution. So okay, so this is just a tips I want to share with you. But now let me uh, test the deployment that we created. Okay, so now once we have deployed, and if I go into my topics, okay, we will be seeing that there is one conversational boosting. Okay, and this is the generative answer from create generative answers from data source, and this is the main feature that we want to use. And there is already an error. Let me just go and see what is the error that we have got. Okay, now if I go into my, like, this is a trigger, which is an intent, like any question that you want to ask, which is not within the predefined phrases like hi, hello. So here, like if I ask any question which is not falling within the pre-defined phrases, it will go into unknown intent and it will trigger this particular uh, generative answer feature. So let me just go into the data sources. And now you see that my connection, once we have deployed it, whatever this Azure OpenAI connection, it is already picked up. And all the other relevant features for this particular model, which I have deployed, is already been transferred to this bot, since I have deployed it from my Azure OpenAI Studio. And this is the model data, and probably this is where I are having this error. So content fields, right? And what is a content field now? So now if I go back to my index, okay, Copilot test index. Here I would be seeing some fields, okay. So these are the fields which are content, file path, URL ID, which or chunk ID, which is automatically got created. You can add some more fields, customized fields as well. But for this demonstration, I will just take that content field and add it in my Copilot bot. So if I just add the content field here, I think the error should be gone. Yes, it's done. I will see if my bot. Okay, now let me just ask a question. What are the advanced features of delta leak. Hopefully I should be getting the same response which I have got in my Azure OpenAI Studio playground. Okay, yeah, it's worked, and I have got that response. And if you see that, if I just you know make this tracking on, you will be able to see like how it has actually traveled, like from the trigger, which is actually my question. It has triggered this particular generative answer feature in Copilot, and then we are getting the response from it, and then finally we are ending this topic. And so if I now show you one thing, edit my model. Okay, you see right here, act as a data. So whatever the system prompt which I have defined, it's also transferred to this deployment model. Okay, deployed model. Okay, so that's a cool feature, and that's something I wanted to share with you. So by this, you can build your Copilot model, which can leverage your Azure OpenAI models that you can test beforehand deploying. And once you deploy that model, all your features should transferred smoothly into this deployment model features, and then you can start building more on top of this deployment. You can build a lot. Let's say if I put a high, this is a default intent, I guess. Uh, you can build an entire bot. Yeah. So this is how I can help you today. And let me just ask a different question. How can I use the time travel feature in Delta Lake? Let me see how it's performing. Okay, you see, right? I have got that entire response from the PDF file which I have uploaded, and it has also given the reference like from where it has collected this particular response.